technology. I mean, when Alexander Graham Bell invented the telephone, it didn't occur to him that criminals would use it. I remember one day people said, "Did you know that there are criminals on the internet?" And I said, "Who let them in?" Right? We didn't design the internet for criminals, and they showed up, right? So you have to assume the same thing is going to happen with this technology. And I think the most important thing is to put in the observational systems to watch for it. And we should be able to create surveillance systems within the internet to watch for bad actors, at least in the extreme cases. I'm worried about it for the following reason. In our lifetimes, in the next 5 or 10 years, every single human on the planet who has a mobile phone, cell phone, will have access to Einstein, Leonardo da Vinci, whomever, in some form. We've never had that devolution of power. We've never had that decentralized empowerment of humans. Now, this group, I trust. There's an awful lot of wacky countries and wacky cultures and wacky religions, where I'm not so sure I would trust their collective action being consistent with our values.
For sure.
Right. And I think history will judge us based on how we handle the humans as this intelligence evolution occurs and empowers individuals.
So the most famous use case, obviously, of AI right now is the large language models. I mean, they're the ones that are being used day in and day out. What would you say are probably going to be, let's say, the top 1 or 2 or 3 next use cases that you think are going to change things? And maybe 1 or 2 that people aren't thinking about.
Well, so today there are sort of 3 things going on. I'll simplify it. Language stuff, that's what we were joking about with large language models. There's something called the agentic revolution, where you have agents. An agent takes language in, it has memory, and it produces something. So it says, I want to do a conference in Miami. And it selects the venue, and then it calls the mayor, and the mayor says yes, because the mayor is very pro-business. And then it calls the security people, and then it calls the contractors, and then it designs the stadium. Each of these is a work plan, right? Over and over again, that's workflow. Workflow is what happens in business. The technical industry believes 2 things. First, the scaling laws, which are the laws of improvement, are not slowing down. The crazy investment that you see is there for a reason. They're seeing the kind of gains, this factor of 10 every year, are continuing to come. It's pretty amazing. And most importantly, with that investment comes everything else that we talked about. It's enormously expensive. And by the way, we're going to run out of electricity before we run out of money, which is a separate discussion. But the important thing is you have language. The next thing, and then you have agents. And these agents do everything. There's something called agent orchestration, where you can move the agents around. And the third one is essentially reasoning. You now have systems that can pass math tests,